It's around 300 BC. The Aegean is about to shine on Ephesus. Ephesus, the commercial, cultural, and religious center of the Old World. The priceless heritage of the Hellenistic, Roman, and Byzantine civilizations. The most reputable port of its era with a population of 200,000. According to some sources, Ephesus, founded by the Amazons, was first inhabited by Carians and Lelegs. Ephesus city, known as Apasas during the Hittite era, was founded by King Androklos. Even though its center of settlement was moved for a couple of times during the course of history, Ephesus is one of the rare antique cities to have survived uninterruptedly for 5,000 years. Being a sacred city for all its inhabitants and a vivid trade center, Ephesus hosted many well-known characters in history, such as Alexander the Great, Hannibal, Cicero, Julius Caesar, Brutus, Antonius, Cleopatra, Strabon, Hadrianus, Saint John, Saint Paul, and many beliefs from Mother Goddess figures to Virgin Mary. Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the world, is the largest temple in Anatolia and roots to the Mother Goddess tradition. Believed to be the first monument among the architectural works of its era, the temple was originally built on 127 columns. As it was despoiled numerous times in its lifetime, unfortunately, these sad scenes are all what is left from this resplendent building. Started by the Amazons and spread to the outer world, the belief, which exalted woman to a rank of a goddess, led to the creation of many temples and goddess figures. It was Mother Goddess of the people of Çatalhöyük, Kibele for Mid-Anatolia, Ishtar for Mesopotamia, and Artemis for the Aegean. Depicted with open hands in all figures, Artemis symbolized abundance with her posture. Her crown represented the evolution of a woman in 3 phases. According to this, the crescent was the newborn girl, the half-moon was the young girl, and the full moon was the mature mother. With her necklace described the nature and plants, the figures on her chest symbolized the horoscopes, and the eggs on her bosom stood for fertility. When he came to Ephesus in the year 53, St. Paul, one of the apostles of Jesus Christ, could not destruct the belief in Artemis in his efforts while disseminating Christianity. The propaganda of the new religion received severe reaction from jewelers working for the temple. After all, Artemis jewels were the main source of revenue. This new religion would lead to the loss of the entire market. Soon, a harsh rebellion burst out in the city, which in return urged St. Paul to leave the city and never to return. As Artemis' temple had turned into the vault of the wealthy upper class, the poor started to espouse Christianity. For them, Virgin Mary was a mother and a virgin, just like Artemis was. On the other hand, St. John came to Ephesus accompanied by the Virgin Mary, entrusted to him by Jesus. First, Virgin Mary and St. John stayed in Apostolic Church in Ephesus. Also known as Council Church, this edifice is still very important as it is one of the 7 churches of Revelation. The road up to the house of Virgin Mary is wrapped up in a different light every hour of the day. Virgin Mary's house has always been one of the top issues of debate in Christendom and was always sought for in Jerusalem. However, the dream of a German nun stirred up a ruckus. Anna Katerina Emmerich, who happened to be bedridden and never left her home, saw Virgin Mary's house in her dream. Emmerich not only described the house to the tiniest detail, but also claimed that it was located somewhere close to Ephesus in Anatolia. The house, which was founded by a group of priests, was exactly the same as described by Emmerich. The century-old plane trees, a small sanctuary, and a Virgin Mary sculpture was found, all of which dislodged all the doubts. Today, as a spot of pilgrimage accepted by the Christian world, Virgin Mary's house hosts and gives hope to thousands of people each year. The importance of Ephesus and its environs for the world of faith extends also to the Grotto of the Seven Sleepers. In the midst of the 3rd century AD, 7 young men fled from the torment against Christians, fell asleep after taking shelter in this grotto. Miraculously, they slept for 200 years. As they woke up, Christianity was officially accepted. As the grotto has been the plot of such a miracle, it was regarded as a holy spot. Many Christians were voluntarily buried here. St. John's Basilica, which houses the grave of St. John the Apostle, is believed to be the most important Byzantine edifice among all in Ephesus. When Pope Paul VI visited this church in 1967 and prayed, Ephesus once more attracted considerable attention from the Christian world. The skirts of the Selçuk fortress, which lie on the Ayasuluk hill, house many successive nations to have lived here in history. These stones, which are the remainders of the settlements built and rebuilt for many times, seem to cry out the cultural wealth of the region. This mosque, built upon the order of Isa Bey in the 14th century, is counted among the most important monuments of the Selçuklu architecture. It's a typical Selçuklu work with its courtyards, columns, plant motifs, mosaics, and monumental gate. Earthquakes and epidemics forced the people of Ephesus and the neighboring nature to migrate. However, a group of Christians refused to leave their lands and moved to a mountaintop, brim with pine and olive trees. Today, known as Şirince, this charming and authentic Turkish village is an inevitable stop for the tourists visiting Selçuk. On the lands of Ephesus, Jewish, Christian, and Muslim communities cohabited for thousands of years. The fact that the region hosted a myriad of religions, languages, and civilizations is reflected by the architectural pattern. The Byzantine water arches supplied the region's water for many centuries. Today, these arches are the temporary nest of the storks migrating to Selçuk every year. Today, these busy tours around Ephesus and its environs offer an unforgettable day to the visitors. The day, which reflects the spirit of the antique eras, starts with the visit of one of the most reputable museums of Turkey, the Ephesus Archaeology Museum. The jewelry, perfume bottles, oil lamps, toys, the Priapos statuette, and the ivory friezes exhibited in the hall of terrace houses visualize the dreams of the houses of the rich. The museum revives the history with its displays of the spectacular statues, sarcophagi, tombstones, and bas-reliefs. The Celsus Library, which reflects all the characteristics of the Roman architecture, is one of the most magical stops of the city. The 4 women sculptures located on the front facade of the library symbolize wisdom, character, intelligence, and knowledge. There were 10,000 books on the shelves of the library, built after the Roman senator Celsus. Another important spot in Ephesus is clearly the theater with a capacity of 24,000 seats. The theater, which also housed gladiator fights in the late Roman era, is still serving culture and art for over 2,000 years. Life in Ephesus, which was the apple of the world's eye for thousands of years, was incredibly modern. The sewage pipes were laid under the city. The marble columns were united with lead pieces. The notch stones laid on the avenue of currents were a wise solution for avoiding slippery ground for the sandals during the rain. Today, the leading sign carved on the sidewalk of the marble street is regarded as the first billboard of the world. The board depicting a heart, a footstep, and a woman figure used to lead the way towards the love house of the city. The toilets, used by many at once, were the first samples of the European-style closets. The upper class used to live on the side of the Avenue of Curets. Also known as the terrace houses, these settlements exhibit impressive details about the daily life of the time. The administrators, clergymen, and rich merchants of Ephesus used to live here. The walls, built of stone and bricks, were plastered both inside and outside. The ground was decorated with mosaics. Almost all of the houses had a kitchen, bathroom, and a well. There are still some nails on the walls of these houses, which clearly exhibit the lifestyle of the rich people of Ephesus and their passion for comfort and art. The backgammon tables, the furnishings, and the frescoes decorating the walls deeply astonished the visitors. The minute we leave the terrace houses, an ordinary 21st century day hits the visitors. Being visited by almost 1.5 million people a year, Ephesus has become a world city. Today, one can hear almost any language on the streets of the city, which used to house nothing else but Latin and Greek in the past. Antique Ephesus has always been a port. However, the city receded from the sea during the Middle Ages. This was when the Genoan founded Kuşadası and began to use the spot as a pier, just like today. The ships anchoring at the Kuşadası port every day are carrying thousands of tourists to Ephesus.